Are you dreading the January credit card statement? Wondering how will you climb out of this holiday debt? Here's the truth. Fear keeps us from looking. But what if that monster under the bed is actually just a toy? I'll show you how to face your debt head on and crush it so you can lead your family with confidence and purpose. Hi, my name is Randall Duberval. I help married Christian men lead their family with purpose, align their finances with biblical principles, and achieve debt freedom and build a lasting legacy. Let's be honest, financial stress after the holidays is overwhelming, but ignoring it won't make it go away any faster. I know because I've been there, avoiding the bills out of fear, but here's what I learned. When you confront the numbers, the fear fades and the path forward becomes clear. Stick with me because in this video, we're going to talk about assessing debt, creating a debt payoff plan, and reflecting on how we got here in the first place and staying disciplined to move forward. By the end of this, you'll have the tools to tackle holiday debt and move closer to financial freedom. So let's get into it. Step number one. I want you to assess your debt. Get all the bills together, pile it all up, print out the bank statements, print out the credit card statements. I hope you didn't go too crazy, but if you did, that's okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We are going to look at each and every one of our debts. But before we do that, I wanna let you know why. In Luke chapter 14, verse 28, it says, "For which of you desiring to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it?" Avoidance makes debt grow and fear grow. It's like when you're a kid, terrified of the monster under your bed, but then only to find out it's just a toy. And I want you to know that debt feels like that at times, scary until you actually tackle it. So here's what you can do. List how much you owe and the minimum payments. Calculate your total monthly expenses, including necessities. Write down your take-home pay. One thing you can do is use a spreadsheet or a budgeting app to organize this. I personally have something that I use and I can actually provide that for you. It's on a spreadsheet and it's actually really cool. You don't even got to worry about all the things that Excel does because we've already made sure that it does that. So if you want that, I'll drop a link below in the description just for you. Step number two, you want to create a debt payoff plan. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 7 says, "The rich rule over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender." I ain't no slave. I am a lender. That's where I want to be. That's how I want to move. And so in order to do that, I've got to put a debt payoff plan together in order to get this debt out of the way. And listen, I'm currently doing that right now. I'm in the process of paying off my debt. And I'm going to talk a little later about some things that I'm doing in order to make that happen a little quicker. But what I want you to do is understand what kind of plan are you going to use. There's many of them out there. Me personally, I use the snowball method. And in doing so, I'm able to pay off my debt. And I heard the voices say, what is the snowball method? If you want to know a little bit more about the snowball method, I will create a video that will allow you to understand exactly how to do that so that way you can tackle this debt and create a debt payoff plan. It has worked amazing for my family, and so I want to actually go through that in order to get you in the right space for you to get your finances in order. Here's an action plan. In this debt payoff plan, I want you to allocate as much extra money as you can toward your top priority debt. How do you know if you have extra money? Well, look at your expenses and then look at your income. When you've created that budget that I'm going to provide you with, you'll see hopefully that you have some money left over. And with that money that's left over, that's what you can throw towards your debt in order to take care of that debt and get rid of it. And then what you'll do is you'll commit to paying off this debt until it is gone and it's not a burden on you anymore. What I've been able to actually create for my family is what I like to call the debt crusher, the bad debt crusher tool. And so if you want that, I'll put a link below in order for you to get that because I want you to see your family through this as I'm doing the same for my family. All right. We've come to step number 3. I want you to spend time and reflect and stay disciplined. Paying off debt is not easy, but it's worth it. And so discipline is like a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger you grow. And so I want you to first reflect, why am I paying off all this debt? These are the questions I had for myself. And my wife and I, as we were having these conversations, we recognized we wanted to purchase some gifts for the cousins. We wanted to purchase gifts for uncles and aunts and all of these different people. And great, listen, it happens. It's things that take place. But in next year, what we're going to do, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, is we are going to create a fund that is preparing us for the holiday spending. We know it's coming. Why not prepare for it? Here's what you can do. Write down the reasons why you spent what you spent. Was it because you wanted to please people? Was it because your eyes were a little too big in the process? There's so many different reasons. And so write those reasons down. And then I want you to stay disciplined. But how are you going to stay disciplined? The discipline is going to come from you celebrating small wins. Get together, have a conversation. Each step closer gets you to freedom. And one of the things you can do also is pray regularly for wisdom and perseverance in this process. Don't do it alone. Get your wife together. Have this conversation. Here's a recap on the things that we've discussed so far. So assess your debt. Write down what you owe, your expenses and your income. Once you've got that number of how much is left over, create a debt payoff plan, which is number 2, right? And then choose the snowball method. Personally, that's what I use. There's other methods out there. You can look into them if you want, but choose a method and then stick to it. Don't switch along the way. I've done that many of times. I don't want you to go through that. And when you do that, you want to stick to it so that way you get yourself to the place that you want to be. And lastly, reflect and stay disciplined. Keep your why in front of you and celebrate your progress. Here's the thing. I want you to know, me personally, my family and I, we've decided that what's best for our family is to make a little extra income. We actually have a little bit of money left over at the end of each month in order to put towards debt. However, one of the things that we really want to see is to get this debt paid off completely, and not just the holiday spending debt, but debt beyond that, in order for us to get to where God is calling us to be fully for our family. And so one of the things I'm personally doing is I'm driving Uber Eats, and this is not any, what do they call it, advertisement or anything for Uber, but what I've decided to do is actually drive Uber, deliver food. And recently I just went for my first trip and I made about $50 in 3 hours, but I'm looking to see if I can make more as we go. But for me, the way I'm looking at it is that every single step of the way makes every little bit of money that I can acquire makes a dent into my debt. It was little bits of debt that got you to the place you are now. So little bits of pieces of money that you could chuck at this debt will allow you to get out of it. So which of these steps are you going to use? Are you going to use all 3? I would love for you to. Which one actually resonates the most with you? I would love to hear it in the comments. Go ahead and drop that. But I can't wait to actually connect with you as we go further on this journey. I want you to know that you should subscribe to this channel if you're new here. If you're already family, then welcome back. I can't wait to connect with you next time. Revive your finances, live your purpose.